they built a crank system like a dumbwaiter where it raised the tree up from like down below, like it was in a basement, fully decorated, sat there all year,
cool.
and they were cranking this thing up, and it would raise up every year, and then you'd have the Christmas tree. But then when you're done with it, you lower the Christmas tree back down and you slide the floor back over it.
That's like whenever like Taylor Swift comes up from during her concert, comes up from the stage.
Yeah.
It's the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. The rules are gone. The shirt is untucked. Here's Scott and Allie.
Well, I've got a couple things I want to start with for the Not For Air podcast. One of them you're probably going to hate me for because it does deal with us having to do some math, but it's a different question from that. So
hold on.
Yeah, oh, sure. Do you need paper?
Yes. Okay, I got it. Paper, pen.
Well, this is...
Or am I going to need a pencil?
No, I'm hoping you're not going to be doing erasing. So let's start with the math. Let's get the difficult thing out of the way first. And then, boy, doesn't this sound like an exhilarating Not For Air podcast to start.
I hate math.
Well, you do, but this is only a math question in the sense of it ties into what I have to ask you. Do you ever go through life, and I don't know if this is, I've got 10 years on Allie, just so that everyone, total transparency on the fact that, but we're not really that far off in age, even though I have 10 years on you.
10 plus.
We're still at a point where, have you noticed things starting to happen? And I don't know if this is because a mix of social media, or we're just getting to a point in life where we go, I don't know how I know these things, but I know these things. Like if it's social media, they're like, life-changing moment, and you're like, I knew that like forever.
Like what?
Well, just certain things. I can't specifically pull one thing out, but my favorite things are when they do pop up on social media where somebody, obviously much younger, goes, this is groundbreaking, life-changing moment. It is going to change your world. And you're like, I've known this forever, you know?
Yeah.
Well, this is similar to that because I was doing fourth grade math homework with Gavin the other day, and this was in his reminder section of his homework, which, by the way, he got an E for excellent on his report card for accomplishing homework.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we do a very specific process. He gets off the bus, gets a few seconds of crazies out. We are still focused on school time, get the homework done.
Does he run around the house like 3 times? And then...
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes he's just, he bounces off the couches, whatever. I get it. You're coming off school, so you got to come off to it. But here's the thing. I remember.
We need to record this one of these days. We need to do a day with Scott, and you need to record Gavin coming in, and then all of a sudden be like,
oh, he spazzes a bit, and that's totally cool. I get it. You got to get that energy out. Well, and it's funny because he walks through the door. The sneakers land wherever they're going to land. Usually the backpack and the coat land wherever they're going to land. We've begged 1,000 times. Now you got to hang your coat up. You put your shoes where they belong. You've almost made it because you've made it in the door before they come off, but you haven't put them. Well, there's time for that. That's not,
At least he takes them off.
Oh, sure. And then there's, a little freak out session of either he's going to play. Well, he always plays with the dogs because the puppies greet him immediately.
Yes.
So that's, that usually is the trigger to getting the energy out. Sometimes a snack, sometimes not. But the point that I'm making with that is we will always try to get homework done sooner than later. Partly because I know as the evening goes on, he's drifting into his own universe. And, I remember, and I wish my parents would have done this. I wish I would have done homework right. And he doesn't have a ton of it. It's a page of math and a reading thing every day right now.
Hey, a page of math sounds terrible.
Well, when you get to what I'm going to get to in a minute, you're going to agree with that. But the thing about it is, I feel like I wish my parents would have done this. I remember struggling and having to try to get refocused, usually after dinner. And it was like, why did we do that? Like, if I could go back in time and tell my Mom, don't let me do that. Let me get this done. And then, enjoy the time after that. I don't have to come back to it till the next day.
Right.
That was the one thing that I feel I'm actually doing better than my parents. Other than that, they had it all over everything. I mean, they, if I could hold a candle to anything they did, I'd be lucky.
That's why I always say, like, work hard, play harder. I like to get everything done. And then once I get in play mode, I'm in play mode.
It's time. You're not coming back from that.
Yes.
So here's the thing. This is a great question of, I know how to do this. and it deals with telling time. I'm not even joking, but it deals with calculating time. And it's one of these things we all know, but then when you have to sit down and actually write it out, how the hell did we forget this? Here's the math problem. Okay. It is soccer practice starts at 3:23 p.m., okay?
Okay.
It runs for 55 minutes.
Okay.
What time's it end? How do you calculate this?
Okay, so if what I would do is I would go to 4:23. That's an hour.
Okay.
And then I would minus 5 minutes. So
you would do it that way?
Yes. So
okay.
4:23. So 4:22, 21, 20, 19, 18.
Okay, so your answer's right. 4:18, okay, is when it ends.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've written down, and I'll show this to the camera, even though you may not see it that well.
All right, you did the same thing I did. I wrote 3:23, and then I wrote 55 minutes.
Right. Now, the way you did it is the way we know how to do it now. But do you know how to do it in the traditional math sense?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what you're looking for.
So take 3:23.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what we have to do, and I'm not even joking with you, I know how to do time.
Yeah.
But because we have to show a process,
yes,
I had to figure this out. I had to watch a couple videos. So take 3:23, and then we're going to plus 55. Okay. Now try explaining this to a 10-year-old, and all that. So I've written 3:23 and then 55 underneath
it. 8. Yep. 5, 6, 7.
8.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there is no such time as 378, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So what do I do?
So what you're automatically going to do now is you are automatically going to go, well, hold on a second here. We're looking at this and we circle certain things. Now I'm circling, and I'm going to show the camera again here. See, I've circled the numbers. Do you see how I've circled each individual thing?
You circled vertically. So
right.
And like in rows. So the 3 is in a row. The 2 and the 5 are in a row, and the 3,
So now we know there's no 378. So automatically 378 becomes the 4 o'clock hour, right? But at the same time, we have to look at the 78 and go, well, it can't go to 478. How did we get, besides doing what you did, how did you get to 418? Do you see
I just
where
know.
this is messing with people?
So what are we going to do?
We all know this answer. So, okay. So the way that I did it, and I just did this yesterday, and I'm looking at this again going, how the hell did I just get to this answer? And there are people that are sitting there going, well, this is so easy. This is so dumb. It's so easy and so dumb because we know that it's 418. Like the way you did it, you said, well, first I would take it to, what did you say? It was
the next
423 and minus.
Yeah, minus 5.
Right, exactly. Right. But you have to figure out of how to do that. So let me see if I can't figure it out. Then I can explain it to you. So there's a 5, 6, 7, 8. The 1. Okay. All right. So you know how when you do math and you have to carry over a 1?
Yes.
So 5. So there's the 5 and the 3. Well, that's 8. No, we don't carry that because that's 5, 6, 7, 8. How the hell did I get this? I just did this yesterday. I literally had to pull this up on YouTube to show the process of this.
That's the only way that Gavin's going to get this right is from YouTube.
Yeah, because they're showing this whole time jump hump thing. I'm going to show you that. Do you see the little hump that I made right there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a weird way to do it. Or is it? Let me tell you, this is the problem that I am struggling with. And I'm finding I'm having to go to videos to go, I know it's 418. How did I get to figuring out with the math part that it's 418? It is very frustrating when you have to do this. And this stopped me for a couple minutes. I actually might have to pull the video up again.
I was going to say you didn't teach me anything.
I haven't taught you a damn thing.
No, and honestly, you not only did you not teach me anything, but I was hoping for like a hack.
No, I don't have a hack on this. This is more
a hack. You don't even have the answer.
Right. But this is more we know how to do it. Because we've come to a point where we know how to do it, but we don't remember the process per se, except your way. Your way totally worked, but it's like one of those things you sit there and you're like, how the hell do you do this? Because the book's explaining like you have to do this adding and all this stuff, and then the 3 becomes a 4 automatically because of that.
And you said Gavin had an E for excellent in his homework?
Oh, it's done.
How?
It may not always be done right.
I will say that's one of the things that I always did was hey, I might not be great at something, but I'm at least going to get it done.
Well, that's just
because the homework was such a huge part of my grade. But I don't think that that's really the best solution, though, either.
What, as far as homework being a big part of your grade?
Yeah, because, just because it's done, but it's not done right. So then when I'm an adult and cannot remember how to do sine, cosine, and tangent, well, that doesn't do me any dang good.
Oh, God, I have that to look forward to, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's a good one here.
I don't think that just doing the homework should be a huge part of your grade. It's doing the homework right should be a huge part of your grade.
Hold on. I'm trying one more thing here to figure this out.
Anyone else find this to be painful?
Yeah. Well, at any rate, 418 is the answer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the way you did it. But the problem that I'm getting at is explaining that process other than the very simplified way you did it, which is, well, first I would go to 423 and then I would take away 5 minutes from it. Yes, that's an easy way to do it, but you have to show the mathematical of the way you do it. I would have to pull up and refresh myself one more time on the video of the mathematical because I do it your way. I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. It's an hour minus 5 minutes.
You have a week to get the right answer, okay?
Oh, no. I know. You're right. The answer is 418.
No.
That we got right, but it's the showing of the process. That's where I'm saying this is throwing me as a person that we've come to this point in our life. We know these answers, but when you have to sit down and figure out how, other than what you just did, which is a very simplified way to do it because it's not showing exactly the math process, it's like, how do you do it?
Do you think that our kids are going to be smarter or stupider than we were because they know how to show answers in a different way? Or is it that we won't even know how to teach them, so they're going to be stupider because they won't even know how to do these things? Because we don't know how to teach them.
I can't answer that question. I don't know because, I come from an era of having to memorize things. You had to memorize the multiplication table. And, seeing the way they do division now versus long division, the way that I was taught how to do it, which I almost forgot how to do that till I sat down and did a problem for Gavin in long division versus the way he did it.
Yeah.
His way is alien. I mean, they're trying to say it simplifies it by breaking things down and all that. I'm like, no, this just messes with my brain in a very fierce way.
Let's just get to the answer. All these other steps.
That's just it. So I don't know the answer. Are they teaching how to think, or was memorization a way to do it? Because I can't tell you. I won't know. I don't know the answer of which way was better. I just know I know my way. He's learning his way, and I'm trying to morph the two ways, and I'm like, what? Or then you go to a situation like this, 3:23, practice ends at, it's a 55-minute long process. What time does it end? We all can figure out the way Allie did it, but when you got to do it in the math way, you're screwed if you haven't done it like that regularly.
Do I think that kids are going to be smarter? I think that they are teaching them to actually learn it and obtain it, as opposed to just memorizing it. Because there was things that I memorized back in the day, specifically with history.
Didn't you used to be able to do the states because of the song?
Yes. And that my memory was really great when it came to those things. But now we'll be watching a historical movie. My boyfriend's really into history. And I won't remember something because it was just something that I had to memorize to get me through it. And now I don't necessarily, he'll be like, oh, don't you remember which came first, this war versus this war? I'm like, I don't remember because for some reason it was never taught to me to obtain the information. It was just taught for me to memorize it, get it on the paper, and pass the test. And that's where I think that they failed when I was a child.
So it's information that fell out of your brain.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Exactly. And that's maybe people feel that way with math. I mean, there's math things I don't remember. This one's easy. Once we start getting
it's easy in the sense of your process, which is, I'm immediately going to take it to 4, back 5 minutes off. But when you have to write out the math problem to do it, you mentally go, well, wait a minute, I have to remember this weird process. And that's where I'm saying it's things we've learned that we've forgotten how we've learned them.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever learned the way that they learn now. I really don't. And Gavin's in 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
once he gets to 5th and 6th grade,
I'm screwed.
I don't think I would be able to help him at all.
There'll be a tutor if he needs help still.
That's exactly right. My parents were like, I don't know what's going on.
It's just one of those things. All right, moving off that completely, because it was one of those moments where I go, how the hell do we know certain things we know?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I remember learning how to tell time.
Yeah, well, sure.
And all of that. So then I just think it's like also life application, and you do it for so long. Like, I think there is a generation, they don't know how to read an actual clock. Like,
that's very possible.
And do your kids? Probably not.
They did do, I remember earlier in the year or was it last year? There was a little bit of, time spent on time and the actual clock.
Yes.
And so there was a bit of that, the big hand, the little hand. I remember vividly learning the big hand and the little hand. The little hand is hours, the big hand is minutes. All those marks in between, say 1 and 2 are minutes.
Yep.
I remember that stuff vividly. But
where do you have a clock in your house? Do you have one?
Yeah, on the microwave, it's digital.
I know, but I meant a clock.
No, we do not have a round clock. We don't have a round circle clock in the traditional sense, big hands, little hands. Even in our studio we're in right now, everything's digital. Right.
The only clock that I have is in my kitchen. I do have a round clock because it looks vintage and it looks vintage.
Okay, it's a decoration.
Yes, it's a decoration. I mean, yes, it tells time, but I got it more for... Well, I like knowing the time, but I could also look at the stove. That's why I don't think kids are going to know how to read a clock.
You may be right. I mean, for the most part, it could be alien to them with that, which is so weird. Again, back to we know certain things. How did we know these certain? We've forgotten how to know them. I'm sure back in the day in our math classes, it was taught to us the proper way. I'm not saying your way wasn't proper, taking it to 4 o'clock or 4:23 and backing 5 minutes off. That's the simplified version of it. But I'm sure it was taught to us the way of doing the math to calculate the time. I'm positive, totally left my brain. I have now become like you. We go to 4:23, we back 5 minutes off in our brains.
The funny thing is the way that you just tried to describe it doesn't even seem familiar in my brain. Like, I don't think at North Ridgeville High School they did that.
I don't know. I don't remember. I really don't. And I had to watch a video. Now, speaking of videos, on to something completely different. You don't have a live tree at all this year, do you?
No, we don't.
Okay. Then for anyone that has a live Christmas tree, don't forget to wash it.
Do you mean like shake it?
Okay, that would have been wise for me about 14 years ago when I had the spider Christmas tree. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, this
very vividly.
I got bamboozled by my ex-wife and at the time my daughter, who was very young, to go cut down a Christmas tree, which we did.
And that is
I did. And
that's a great memory, I'm sure you have.
Until it was infested with spiders, which infested the house.
Right, because you forgot to shake it.
Well, I guess, or nobody told me.
Okay. Yeah,
Didn't learn that math problem.
Is that washing a tree? Is that what that means?
Well, interestingly enough, I had never thought about this before. So there are people, and this came out of Country Living. I was sitting on the throne the other day enjoying a good magazine of Country Living.
Yeah.
And there was a big article on
tree washing.
Tree washing. I never thought about this. Now, mind you, this is a tree that was cut, a live tree, not a tree that would be artificial. I mean, I don't give a damn. If you want to take your artificial out and wash it, you can do that. They say the idea of washing fake trees went viral last year, so people are doing it because they get rid of the dust and the storage and stuff like that. Now, this is the real tree they're talking about. They say a handful of people on TikTok claim that it gets rid of any bugs. I've been down that road that might be there. Most of them just spray the tree down. No soap or anything like that, but you hose it off. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, I never thought about doing that.
I never did either. I come from a household that had live trees every single year. My parents never owned a fake Christmas tree. It was always a live Christmas tree. Just last year was my first year, and I vowed I'd never do it. But then I said, all right, for the ease of this, because going out, and sometimes it's just time, going out and finding the tree and doing all that. And I love it. I mean, shout out to all the real tree people. I love you still. Maybe one day I'll convert back to it. But yeah, people are actually hosing off. Now, you got to be in a warmer climate, because I can tell you, you, growing up in Buffalo, there was always snow on the ground when we got our Christmas tree, and we always got it a few weeks before Christmas. My dad was not outside hosing off a tree. The hose would have froze before we even started this.
That, and I put my hose away a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like a month or so ago. So I guess just doing the shake, shake, shake. I did see a really awesome video. I have a couple tree things. So one of them is a great idea for the fake trees and the dusting.
Yes.
You can instead wrap it in cellophane. One of my girlfriends did this, and she's done this for a couple years. So you leave all the ornaments on there, and you take cellophane, and I would say go to Sam's and get like the big roll of it, and then you wrap it around the tree. So that way, when the next year, you don't even have to put the decorations back on. You just take the cellophane off. But I will say I don't like this because I like decorating my tree. Like each year, it's a little different because I'm moving ornaments around,
Yes.
But there are some that I like placing in a certain spot.
I don't think I would cellophane a tree now that I think about it. I'm afraid that it would not hold up.
But also, I think you still have to zhuzh it.
Yeah, but like the ornaments are going to fall off anyway, and the lights are not going to be in the right place. Well, my tree's pre-lit. I don't have to hang lights on it anymore.
Right, but I see what I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't think I would do it either. But then a friend of mine posted another video how this family took their Christmas tree out in a parking lot. This would be too much work, but I thought that was kind of funny. So they took their Christmas tree out in a parking lot, and then somebody was in a car driving around the tree, but they were holding lights. And that's how they strung the lights around the tree, was just driving in circles around the tree.
It's actually really funny.
I know.
I saw a video on TikTok this week. Now, this is over the top. This family, they had taken the floor in their living room and put like a door that could go over it. Like imagine a hardwood floor.
Okay.
But imagine this hardwood floor, you could pull back a section of it. Like let's say, a pretty big section, about 4 feet, in diameter. They built a crank system like a dumbwaiter where it raised the tree up from like down below. Like it was in a basement, fully decorated, sat there all year.
Cool.
And they were cranking this thing up and it would raise up every year. And then you'd have the Christmas tree. But then when you're done with it, you lower the Christmas tree back down and you slide the floor back over it.
That's like whenever like Taylor Swift comes up during her concert, comes up from the stage.
Yeah.
So speaking of trees, and I want to do this on the show too, just to like gauge this, but what are you? Are you a star guy, an angel guy, or a ribbon guy at the top of your tree?
Not a ribbon. I would probably be more of an angel because it makes me laugh every single time that I stick the angel up on top of the tree. I can't help
but shove something up the angel's butt. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my parents for a few years had a star up at the top, but it was like a real pointy star. Like I don't know. I remember this thing. It was kind of a bluish color, silver, like sparkly things, and they'd shove it up. But I think I'm more of an angel kind of person.
I'm more of a
not
star.
a ribbon though.
I have a friend. He just showed me his tree the other day, and he's a fabulous gay man. So of course he has the most fabulous tree, and he had this big bow at the top. And I'm with you. I'm like, no on the bow.
No on the bow.
Because I don't know what it is. Like the bow goes like that can go on the tree, around the tree,
on a door.
Right. Not on the top of the tree. I have never really been an angel person. Our family always were star people. And because I think, like North Star, but also the one I have now, I think it's an old Corning Museum of Glass star piece.
Oh.
I got it from a vintage store.
Wow.
And it looks like something you would blow at CMOG. So I think that's what it is and where it came from.
Okay,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I am a star person all the way.
I like that.
I do too. All right, do I have anything else Christmassy? No, I don't think I have anything else Christmassy for the time being.
No, that's fine. We still got more time before Christmas.
Right. Okay, but we did get this message.
Oh, except for the fact I have to comment on this. The story that came out about how AI generated the real look of Santa, the face of Santa.
Yes.
Okay, we're not quite done with Christmas.
No, we're not. Santa got a tan.
Santa looks like somebody at a biker bar in this AR version.
Yes, he does. Oh my God, I didn't, especially the biker bars where guys have been, because they always go to bike week. So he's like Santa's been in Daytona. I'm going to put this cough drop in.
That's it. He was in Daytona. So I looked at this. The traditional Santa, I know, big white beard, sometimes glasses, sometimes not. We debated on the show this week because my 5-year-old asked the question, what color eyes does Santa have? The consensus went with blue,
Yes.
which is what I thought, but the internet told me brown under one place. Either way, you can debate that all you want at home with you and your family. We're sticking with blue. But yeah, so the traditional Santa, everybody has a look in their head, right? You know,
Rosy cheeks.
I was just going to say rosy cheeks, the red nose. We're not sure if it's from cold or too much booze. Not my place to judge.
I
you
would
know?
say a hot toddy.
Oh, could be. But this Santa, it almost ruins it for me personally a bit. If you haven't seen it, you got to type in AI generated Santa face. And he really does look like he's sitting at a biker bar in Daytona Beach.
The reason that they said that was because where Santa actually originated from, he would have had more olive-colored skin. And
I thought he originated in Germany. Aren't they as pale as me?
I thought so too, but no, hold on, let me pull it up.
St. Nicholas, isn't he like St. Nicholas? And that was, I don't.
Hold on a second. Original, because I saw 2 pictures recently that this, the original Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, a 4th century Greek bishop from Myra, which is now in modern Turkey, where their skin is a little bit more of that
Wait a
olive.
minute. Santa didn't come from Germany. He came from Greece?
I guess so. I know. I thought Germany too.
The Greek. Again, we talked about this a couple podcasts ago with the coleslaw. How is it they are in everything? They have every family restaurant. Now they got the North Pole.
Well, and then
the Greek, I swear.
Then honestly, Santa's hair should be like
Jet black.
jet black,
And thick and
curly.
glorious.
Yes, like not curly, but it's always very wavy. Although
I don't believe Santa came from that area.
I have a girlfriend. She's Macedonian. Isn't that
similar? I mean,
Yes.
gloriously thick black hair, like it'll never go anywhere.
And that's what I was going to say.
Except down
So
your husband's back.
she has the most beautiful, like it's not tight curls. It's like the most
Yep.
beautiful wavy black hair. And same with her dad. Like it's not the Santa that we know.
No, it's not. My Santa does
But-
not sit in a Daytona Beach biker bar.
But how great would it be instead to get gyros for Christmas? Instead, don't leave Santa a cookie. Wait a second. This is actually
Leave
perfect.
him a euro
Here-
or a gyro, whatever.
Here is, oh my gosh, my brother.
Can
got-
I leave Santa a spanakopita?
Yes. That's what I was thinking. This year, you need to tell the kids, well, Santa would like some good tzatziki sauce on the side.
Yes, and so would Dad. So would Dad. Can you imagine that in the beard? I mean, you wouldn't notice it because it's a white beard,
Oh
right?
my
See,
gosh.
there you go. You're perfect.
Santa's breath must reek. Between the hot toddies of the
Rudolph farting in his face all night.
Right. Oh my gosh, a deer
Chewing
fart.
reindeer ass.
I would think that a reindeer fart was probably even worse than a dog fart, and those are the worst.
By the way, I wanted to come back to the math thing for a second. I
Oh
had to
my
sit here and
God.
calculate this. Do me a favor. I figured it out for
That
you.
was the worst painful 15 minutes of my life. What?
No, this now makes sense. I had to remember I told you in the beginning. How do we know these things, but we know them? Right, 3:23. All right, that's the start of practice. Okay. 55 minutes long practice.
Am I putting it below it?
What do you do? Okay. Well, you know already it's going to be 378, right? We know that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's what you got to do next. Now, we already know the 3 is going to become a 4 because it's pushing us to the next hour.
Yes.
Okay. Just keep the 4 off to the side. Now, how many minutes are there in an hour?
60.
Okay, write 60 under the 78. Now subtract. So you've done adding and subtracting. So 8 from 0 is 8. 7 from 6 is 1. We already said we're moving the 4 over. There's your 418. That's how you mathematically calculate the math. Your way easier. I'm just saying, your way was easier.
How
but I had to remember how the hell I did this yesterday with him.
I'm glad you remembered.
Thank you.
That probably could have saved us a lot of pain in the first 15 minutes of this
But
podcast.
there was a point to that. That first 15 minutes
Yeah.
was the discussion of the agony that we're going through.
I was getting lost. But with that being said, between that and the conversation we had about kids' brain rot with cell phones in the classroom,
Oh, God, right?
I'm concerned.
I
They're so
am
smart.
too.
They're so smart because they have computers, which is, I mean, the technological innovations that this generation brings to us is amazing.
I have to mention this too. So Allie's been suffering through a cold the past couple days.
Yes.
This is the second time this week. It's not a complaint. It's just an observation. Those are the strongest cough drops. You popped one a minute ago on the podcast. Those are my sinuses are clearing out. And I am literally 4 feet from you.
I swear by these.
Here,
These are
you want to see how close she is? She's right there. That's how close it is. And you are clearing my sinuses.
Oh, and I want to get back to Santa in a second.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap her up.
We've taken you all over.
I do not endorse this. Because I mean, they're not paying me for this, but I swear by these cough drops. Someone gave it to me once, and now this is the only cough drops I'll ever buy. They're expensive, but they are the Young Living or essential oils. You know, the whatever. Is it called Young Living? Okay. Young Living essential. I'll look at my Amazon cart, but they are the Thieves brand.
Well, it's stealing my sinuses, those thieves.
Oh my gosh. They are so.
That's a clearer.
Oh, yeah, here it is. They're arriving tomorrow because I had to get more.
You ever use the Vapes shower tablets where you drop it in the shower and it gives the vapors? I just bought them for the kids because they're fighting colds right now. And each kid during their individual showers had their own little pod. It was awesome. I mean, like the whole shower, I'm like, breathe.
I need one. Yeah, Young Living Thieves cough drops.
All right.
And going back to the Santa thing, I forgot to show you, this is what Santa looks like. I wore my Santa sweatshirt today.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There's some hose in this house.
Yeah, well, we've had a trend this week. Things that sound dirty on the Scott and Allie show, but they're not. And that would be one of them.
Okay, next week.
Maybe that one is a little dirty.
I have to sneeze.
Oh, well, I might sneeze with you, bless you, with those cough drops. See? Clears everything out.
Excuse me.
Everything. No, you're fine.
All right, next week then, I want to get to this, a text that we got, am I too young? Okay, so we'll just sit on that.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Do us a favor, will you? Subscribe. Share the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. Touch our buttons. We know you want to.